Good morning, friends. Today we are going to start a new chapter in biology, chapter number 6, that is tissues. So let us recall what we did in chapter number 5. In chapter number 5, we understood what is a cell. It is the basic structural and functional unit of life. So we saw that a single cell, is also a living cell. Okay, so we learned the different parts of the cell, that is the cell membrane, the cell wall, the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and all the cell organelles inside the cytoplasm which do the metabolic activities for life. Now this lesson is about a special group of cells called tissues. So first of all, we see what are unicellular and multicellular. We did this in the previous chapter also. Unicellular organisms, in that a single cell performs all basic functions like digestion, respiration, circulation, excretion, reproduction. Everything is done by a single cell. For example, the amoeba. The amoeba is a single cell which carries out movement, means locomotion, the intake of food, the ingestion, then the digestion, the egestion, then even the respiration, excretion, reproduction, everything is done by a single cell only. So it is very simple in the single cell. So we learned that in the cell there is a cell wall, a cell membrane, the cytoplasm, and in the cytoplasm there are various cell organelles. Now even remember that there are differences between plants and animal cell, but generally all the living cells which are single cells, they perform all these functions. Now in this chapter we move on to the multicellular organisms which have got millions of cells, means millions of cells in the body. Okay, so when there are millions of cells in the body, there are basic functions which every cell has to do, but now to make it easier, the cells are specialized. They are specialized to carry out a particular function. It is specialized to carry out a particular function. So this particular function is carried out by, each specific function is carried out by different group of cells. So the body has got a million cells. All these cells are distributed in a group, and every group has to do a particular function. Because the groups are divided and the function is also divided, every cell in the group performs a particular function, and because they are separated, they do it very efficiently. So look at our human body also. Our human body is multicellular. We have organs in the body, the stomach, the heart, the kidney, the lungs, all of do their own work and do it very efficiently. But even inside the stomach, there are glands which secrete the dilute hydrochloric acid, the gastric juices, the mucus. So even in our stomach, there are tissues which secrete, and there are muscular tissues which churn the food. So within the organ also, there are group of tissues. The muscular tissues of the stomach will churn the food, means mix the food. The glandular tissue of the stomach will secrete. There are tissue to secrete HCl, there are tissue to secrete mucus. So I hope you are following that in a multicellular organism there are groups of cells for a particular function. So what we can see here, a particular function is carried out by a cluster of cells at a definite place in the body. A definite place in the body, very important. So a particular function is carried out by a cluster, by a group of cells in a definite place in the body. This cluster of cells is called a tissue. So the group of cells which have come together for a common function is called a tissue, so that the function becomes very efficient. Blood, phloem, muscle are the examples of tissues. Now, let us see a little. In human beings, muscle cells contracts and relax to cause movement. So when you fold your hand and open your hand, the muscles are contracting. Nerve cells carry messages. Blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormones and waste material. In plants also, there are vascular tissues. They conduct food and water from one part of the plant to the other parts. So what is happening basically in both plants and animals is division of labor. The work is divided among the whole organism and everybody has to do their work efficiently. When every organ, every tissue does its work efficiently, the whole organism functions properly. So where is the tissue part coming in again? Those organisms which are unicellular, means made up of one cell is doing all the work, reproduction, excretion, digestion, respiration, everything. But when it is a big organism like elephant, giraffe, tiger, lion, humans and everything, it is made up of a million cells. So here, to make it very efficient, the work is divided, means all the billion cells are divided into groups. There are organs and in the organs also there are group of cells. This group of cells with a particular origin and performing a particular function is called a tissue. So in this chapter we are now going to understand the group of cells called the tissue. So what is the definition of a tissue? A group of cells that are similar in structure and work together for a particular function is called a tissue. So a group of cells with a common origin and performing a particular function is called a tissue. So now we'll see plant tissue and animal tissue, because tissues are there in plants and animals both. Now what is the main difference between plants and animals and how it is modified, the tissue? Plants are stationary or fixed, means they can move standing at their place, the branches can move, but it is fixed, there is no locomotion. So plants are fixed or stationary, so the tissues are mostly supportive. So what does supportive tissue mean? The tissue of the plant has to give them structural strength. Structural strength means the roots have to be in such a way that the plant stands straight. Then by the weight of the branches and the fruit on the trees, the stem should not break. So all this strength is called structural strength. Now most of the tissues are dead. In plants, most tissues are dead. But dead tissue also provide mechanical strength. So dead tissues may not perform all the metabolic functions, but dead tissues provide mechanical strength. So even though the tissues are dead, they provide the same mechanical strength as the living ones. But dead tissues will need less maintenance. Living tissues have to be maintained, dead tissues need less maintenance. So in plant, it is beneficial if the tissues are dead, because dead tissues provide the same mechanical strength as the living tissues, but they need less maintenance, means they need less food, less water and so on. Animals move around in search of food, mates, that the male looks for the females, and shelter. So because they are moving around constantly, they consume more energy. So most of the tissues they contain are living. Animals don't have dead tissues, they only have living tissues because they are moving around, doing a lot of work, running and everything, so they consume more energy. So the body has to be more efficient, so most of the tissues in animal cells are living. Another difference between animals and plants is the growth pattern. Okay, what does the growth pattern mean? The growth in plants is limited to certain regions. If you have seen a tree, if you observe a seed growing into a tree, then first of all its height is increasing. It grows taller and taller and taller and reaches a certain height. After a certain height, the height of the plant does not increase. Okay, same way in the ground, the roots are going towards water. The roots keep on growing every day, they grow bigger and bigger and bigger in search of water and stability. But after the plant reaches a certain height, the height does not increase, but the branches, new and new branches are coming out of the tree. Also, as the tree is growing old, the trunk of the tree, that is the stem, is also growing in diameter, becoming thicker and thicker. So the growth in the plants grow but up to a certain height and in certain regions. Well, in animal it is not, so the animal keeps on growing up to a certain height, but then the weight of the animal will also grow, the waist they become fatter. Now there are some tissues in plants that divide throughout their lives. Like I told you, the plant reaches a certain height, but the roots are getting longer, new branches are coming out, new leaves are coming out. So in the plants, there are some tissues that keep on dividing their whole life. So these tissues are located in special regions. So based on the division of the tissues, we will divide the plant tissues into two tissues, meristematic and permanent. So remember, plant tissues have got two tissues, meristematic means which keeps on dividing, and permanent which will stop dividing. But in animals, the growth is uniform, so there is no such division in animals. So remember, in plants there are two types of tissues, meristematic means which keeps on dividing throughout the lifetime, and permanent which stop dividing. So the difference of the plant animal tissues I have tabularized here. You can go through it, it can be asked in the exam. Yes, so this is just all the things we just now discussed put in a tabular form. Plant tissues are dead supportive tissues, animal tissues are living. Plant tissues require less maintenance energy, animal tissues more maintenance energy. Plant tissues are differentiated into meristematic and permanent. What is meristematic? Which divides throughout life. Permanent, which stop dividing. In animal tissues there is no such differentiation. In plant tissues the organization is simple. Animal tissues it is relatively complex. And plant tissues, the tissue organization is for stationary habit. The plants are fixed at one place. Well, animal tissues, they are meant for mobility from one place to another. You can learn this table. This can be asked in the test. So first we go to the dividing tissues called the meristematic tissues. Now like we said, the growth of plants occur in certain specific regions only. The plants grow in certain regions only. This is because dividing the dividing tissue called the meristematic tissue. So the growth is because of division of the tissue or division of cells. This dividing cells are called meristematic tissue and they are located at certain parts only. The apical means at the apex, at the very top. Apical means at the apex, at the very top. Lateral means on the boundary, means on the side. The stem, on the surface of the stem. And sorry, this is the intercalary. Intercalary means near the branches. Near the branches is called intercalary. Near the branches. Okay, and lateral means one growing on the outside of the bark of the plant. So we have got three over here, the apical at the very top, then we have got the intercalary near the branches and lateral on the diameter of the tree. So apical is at the apex, it is the tip of the stem and roots, yes. So you understood the function. What does it do? It increases the length. The plant is growing taller, even the root is growing bigger and bigger. Means the length of the root is increasing. Second is the lateral. Lateral means what? The thickness. The plant becomes bigger, the thickness increases. So that is done by the lateral meristem. The thickness is also called the girth, the diameter. So the stem becomes thicker, the root becomes thicker because of the lateral meristem. And intercalary is at the base of the leaves or internodes. Base of the leaves or internodes. These are the internodes. The internodes, yes, these are the internodes from which branches come out. So the tree grows in height because of the apical meristem, grows thicker because of the lateral meristem, and lot of branches because of the intercalary meristem. Okay, now you will have to go and see the plants growing near your house. It has been the monsoon season, so a lot of weeds and everything will have grown near your house. Go and observe the plants. Okay, you will see which parts of the plants are growing very quickly, the color of the things you will see. You will also touch and see which parts are soft and which parts are hard. So here we have summarized the meristematic tissue. Okay, I made the table of the same thing we did. Now look at the characteristics. The cells are thin walled and composed of cellulose. So this is very important. They are having a thin wall because they are growing, dividing, and they contain cellulose. Now, location at the tip of the root and stems, at the base of the node, internode and leaf. Function is to divide actively, which results in the growth. So we have the apical meristem growing at the tip. It increases the length of the plants. Intercalary at the internode or stem regions or the base of leaves. They form new cells, give rise to branches. Lateral, present laterally means the outside surface of the roots and stem. They increase the width, diameter, thickness and girth of the stem or root. So again, meristematic tissue is a living tissue which keeps on dividing, which makes the plant to grow. So this is also called the growth tissue. That was meristematic. Now we go to the permanent tissue. Permanent tissue is the tissue which has now lost the ability to divide. They don't divide. So meristematic tissue, when it divides, the top part remains meristematic because it will further divide. But the bottom part becomes a permanent tissue. So permanent tissue means they lose the ability to divide. So now they will not divide any further. So as a result, it forms a permanent tissue. And this process of a permanent shape, size and function is called differentiation. So by differentiation, the plant meristematic tissue has become a permanent tissue. Okay. Now the permanent tissues are formed by the division of the meristematic tissue and have lost the ability to multiply. There are two types of permanent tissue, protective and supporting. So permanent tissues are of two types, the protective and the supporting. We are first going to see the supporting and then we'll move to the protective. But again, what is a permanent tissue? It is formed by the meristematic tissue, but now it has lost the ability to divide. So it takes a permanent shape and this is called differentiation. Permanent tissues are of two main types, protective and supporting. So supporting, what does it mean? It makes the plant to stand straight, grow, it makes the leaves to face the sun for photosynthesis. So all this is done by the supporting tissue. So the first of the supporting tissue is the parenchyma. Now you can see in the parenchyma in the diagram they have mentioned intercellular spaces. Now there is a nucleus, a very big vacuole, there is even a cell wall and the cell walls have thickenings. But what is the function of the parenchyma? It is a basic packing tissue. Means it fills up spaces between the parts of the plant, between the cells. So this is parenchyma is the basic packing tissue. It has got relatively unspecialized cells. No specialized cells, they are unspecialized cells, thin walls, but they are live cells. Okay, now we said like mostly they are dead. Meristematic means which has got the ability to divide, so they are living. Parenchyma is permanent, so it does not divide, but still it is a living cell. Now since they are loosely packed, they are not packed very tight, they are loosely packed, what happens? There are large spaces between the cells. And this large spaces is what makes it soft. So it is very soft because of the large spaces. Now this tissue, what does it do? Provides support to the plants and also stores food. So this is parenchyma. Now there are two types of parenchyma. One is the normal and there are two more. One parenchyma contains chlorophyll. It is green in color, contains chlorophyll, so it performs photosynthesis. So this parenchyma is called chlorine. Because of the chloroplast, it is called chlorenchyma. So chlorenchyma is a type of parenchyma. Okay, so parenchyma which contains chlorophyll does photosynthesis, it is called chlorenchyma. In aquatic plants, the plants living in the water, there are large air cavities. There are large air cavities. Intercellular spaces or the vacuoles are filled with air. It gives buoyancy to the plant. What does buoyancy mean? It helps the plant to come towards the surface, buoyancy, to keep them floating. So such parenchyma is called erenchyma because of the air filled inside. Because of the air filled inside, this parenchyma is called the erenchyma. Now the function of the parenchyma of the stem and roots is to store nutrients and water. Nutrients means the food prepared or the nutrients absorbed from the soil. So this is the first permanent tissue. So what we saw again, we saw the meristematic tissue and the permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue has got no differentiation, but the permanent tissue are of two types, simple and complex. So parenchyma is a simple permanent tissue. This is simple. What does simple mean? Made up of only one type of cells. So in the parenchyma, all the types of cells are the same. So it is a simple meristematic permanent tissue. So not meristematic, simple permanent tissue. The next one is collenchyma. Again you can see there is nucleus, cytoplasm, lamella, chloroplast, vacuole and a cell wall. So this cell also has got almost all the basic things. But how it is different from the parenchyma? The flexibility. The flexibility is an important feature of collenchyma. So it allows bending in various parts of the plant without breaking. This is very important, the collenchyma. So if you are, like I told you, if you go and observe the plants outside your house which has got a green stem, now even if you will bend the stem, then there is a very high chance that it will not break. It will bend, it is still strong, but it will not break. It is flexible but strong, like a bamboo and all the green stems. So because it is strong, it provides mechanical support. Okay, so even the leaf stalks below the epidermis are made up of collenchyma. What is the leaf stalk? You know, the center one, the thick outing of the leaf which gives support to the leaf. Now these tissues you can see are also living. So parenchyma was living, even collenchyma is living. It is elongated. These tissues are long in shape. You can see, and irregularly thickened. They are at the corners. They are thickened at the corners. They become thick at the corners. So this, because the corners are filled up, they've got very little intercellular space. They've got very little intercellular space. Third one is the sclerenchyma. It has got a narrow lumen and a lignified. Look at this word lignified. Means lignin. So it is filled up with lignin. Now it is what makes the plant hard and stiff. It makes the plant hard and stiff, not flexible, very hard, rigid, like the husk of the coconut. Now these tissues are the first ones which are dead because they are hard, they are dead, they give mechanical strength but no flexibility. Their walls are long and narrow and thickened due to lignin. You can see they are not thickened at a single place. The whole cell has got a thick outing called which is because of the lignin. And what does the lignin do? It hardens them. So sometimes they are so thick there is no internal space inside the cell. Now this tissue is present in vascular bundles. So you can see the main function is to give support or to hold something straight. It provides strength to the plant parts. So we have got a parenchyma which is soft. Okay. Then we have got the collenchyma which is also slightly soft, flexible and providing mechanical strength. Those both are living. And we got sclerenchyma which is hard because the cells are dead. The walls are lignified, means filled with a pigment called lignin which makes it hard. So this we have done is what? The parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, the simple permanent tissue. Simple means made of one type of cell. Now let us tabulate them together to understand. So all these three provide support to the plant, the supportive tissues. Parenchyma, non-specialized, thin-walled, living cells. Like I told you, in the soft part of the plants and outer regions of roots and stems. They provide temporary support and maintains the shape of the plant. Collenchyma are living and elongated. They are thickened at the corners. So they are in the non-woody plants with the green colored stem. They provide mechanical support and elasticity or flexibility. And last is the sclerenchyma. They are elongated, narrow, fiber-like cells. They are dead and pointed at both ends. They are located in the vascular bundle, veins of leaves, and hard covering of seed and fruits. What do they do? They provide strength and toughness to the plants. Now we go to the protective part. In the protective part, we first have the epidermis. So epidermis, what is the word meaning of the word epidermis? Outer covering. The covering is called epidermis. So the epidermis cells are on the outer side. It is mostly a single layer of cells. Now in dry habitat means deserts and everywhere where there is less water, the epidermis may be thicker so that there is less loss of water. So the outer covering in desert plants is thicker to prevent loss of water. So the whole plant has got an outer covering called the epidermis. It protects all the parts of the plant. Okay. Now on the aerial parts, the parts in the air above the ground, they often secrete a waxy water resistance layer. You must have seen on a lotus leaf, the water does not stay on the leaf. When the water it flows away. Why? Because water will not cover the leaf needs sunlight for photosynthesis. So it doesn't allow the water to collect there, so it is waxy water resistance. It aids in the protection of loss of water and mechanical injury and even invasion by parasitic fungi. So the waxy layer has got three functions: protection against loss of water, protection against mechanical injury, and even against the invasion by parasitic fungi. Okay? Now because it is protective, there are no intercellular spaces. It is one whole covering. There are no spaces at all. Most of them are flat and very thin. And the outside and inner walls are thinner than the inner wall. The outside and the side walls are thinner than the inner wall. So epidermis is the coating on the outside. In some places it is waxy and water resistant. Also, the epidermis on the top has got some pores. There is no intercellular space, but there is a pore on the top. These pores are called stomata. On the leaves they are present, they are called the stomata. What is the stomata? You can see it is two kidney or bean shaped. Two kidney shaped or bean shaped guard cells. When the guard cells open, the gases can go in and the water can come out. So transpiration, what is the meaning of the word transpiration? When the guard cells open, then water from inside the plant can be lost. Loss of water in the form of water vapor through stomata is called transpiration. Now we think, if the plant is losing the water, why does the stomata open? Okay, the reason is, for photosynthesis the plant needs carbon dioxide. It takes carbon dioxide from the air. So the guard cells open up, the stomata opens to let the carbon dioxide come in. But at the time the carbon dioxide is coming in, the water can go out. So in desert, what does the plant do? They have done a modification. The stomata does not open during the day because the water may be lost. The stomata opens at night to take in carbon dioxide so that water is not lost. So there in desert the stomata opens only at night and takes in the carbon dioxide, and in the day during the sunlight it prepares the food. So epidermal cells, some even absorb water. They are the long hair-like parts. So there is a hair-like part which increases the intake of water. In some plants like desert plants, epidermis have a thick waxy coating of cutin. Okay, it works like a waterproof substance. If you see in cactus plants, they have got a thick waxy coating of cutin, so it does not allow water to be lost. And another supportive function, supportive part is the core. Sorry, protective part. Supporting were parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Protective are epidermis and core. What is core? As the plants grow older, the outer protective tissue undergoes changes. The secondary meristem replaces the epidermis of the stem. Okay, and the cells are cut off from the layer. Now they are not joined to the layer, they have become separate from the layer. This forms several thick of cork or bark. You know what is a bark? If you have seen a mango tree, a chiku tree, the outside has got a very hard brown surface on the trunk of the tree. The neem tree, the coconut, sorry, not the coconut, the neem tree, the mango tree, the chiku tree, all these trees have got a hard outer brown surface which is called the cork or the bark. In this the cells are dead and arranged so close without any intercellular spaces. Now what has made them so hard? They contain a pigment called suberin which makes them impervious to gas and water. Means they are so thick and so hard that water and gas cannot pass through it. So the protective ones are the epidermis, the outer part, and the cork which has become hardened. So to summarize at the end, protective tissue is found everywhere on the surface of roots, stems and leaves. It has got thick cell walls. It gives protection against mechanical injury or invasion by parasitic fungi, even loss of water. Epidermis, the cells are elongated, no intercellular spaces. It is present in the outermost layer of leaves, flowers, stems and roots, and protects the plant from desiccation. What is desiccation? The removal of moisture. Desiccation means it doesn't allow the plant to lose the moisture and also from infection. And cork are rectangular vacuolated protoplasts. Vacuolated means having a vacuole. Outermost layer which undergoes changes, and it also prevents desiccation, infection and mechanical injury. So what have we understood in the lesson so far? Living tissues and dead, the growing tissues called the meristematic tissue. So first we started with what is a tissue. A group of cells with a common origin and a common function is called a tissue. In a unicellular organism, all the activities are done by the single cell. In multicellular, the cells are divided into groups for special functions. So we have got plants and animal tissues which are slightly different from each other because the animals move from place to place and need more energy. The plants need less energy. So we started with the plants. In plants there are some parts which are growing and some are not. The growing dividing part is called the meristematic tissue. The undividing is called the permanent. Meristematic tissues are three types: apical, lateral and intercalary. And permanent tissues are of two types: simple and complex. Simples are those which are made up of one type of cells, which is the parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. And also the simple permanent tissue has got protective feature like epidermis and cork. So I am going to end the lecture here. Kindly go through the lecture, learn all the proper terms and see the differences between different type of tissues and the plant and animal tissues. Okay, thank you.